A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Roundtable this Thursday. My name is Shegun Odunayo. On the show today, we'll be bringing three interesting socio-economic matters that are affecting the Nigerian people and are being discussed in the polity. And we'll be dissecting these topics from various views and presenting the truth to you, our audience, like we always do. I have with me two lovely guests, some of our most interesting bosses here in the house, and together we'll be bringing these topics to you. Before I present these topics to you, of course, starting from the first, let me introduce my guests to you. I have Mr. Chukwudi Akasike here with me, one of our bosses in the house. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
It's great to have you in the house. And I have as well Mr. Ismail Utman making a return this beautiful Thursday, cold or wet, depending on where you are, afternoon. A very good afternoon to you. So very quickly, let's get into the meat of the matter. Insecurity has reared its ugly head once again. And like we've always known it to happen in recent years, the North is the most affected once again. Benue, Borno, these states are having a lot of crisis as it concerns security challenges. And now, the federal government is coming up again to say, hey, it's time for us to do something. I think I'll be starting with you, sir. It is no news when we talk about insecurity crisis in Nigeria. It's now a norm. Okay. And the federal government is now saying, let's do something about it. The Senate is about to have an insecurity summit. And I heard Senator Abure, saying that this is many senates, many different senates, the 8th Senate, the 9th, and all of that, have done security summits, and that there should be no difference this time around addressing Senate President Godswill Akpabio. And I was saying, why is the senator saying this is the norm and he wants the norm to continue? It's more like a ritual that's just a ritual with no end in sight. Is this not the same way the security architecture has been dealing with these matters over the years?
Somebody said that a person who does something the same way and expects a change, something must be mentally wrong with the person. I think this issue of insecurity has been there for a long time, and we have had some information about the fact that some government officials are part of it. One, you have to clean your house, make sure that there is no fifth columnist within your midst. The moment you have a fifth columnist within your midst, anything you do is complete rubbish. In fact, let's call it farrago of rubbish. Because if you want to do something and you know that there is somebody that will sabotage it, you as a government, you are not helping the situation. Nigerians always forget, before this insecurity took a very dangerous turn, there was a time the police said, everybody, if you have a gun with you, if you have any kind of weapon with you, bring it out. So the moment they brought the guns out, insecurity came, took a very dangerous dimension, that Boko Haram will come straight in the night to people's houses, people who are sleeping in the north, and they will kill them. These people don't have anything to defend themselves. So I have been trying to link the fact that they say bring out your guns, surrender your guns, to what is happening now. And remember, there was this news, I don't know how true it is, that the Niger people said that some government officials in Nigeria are supporting insecurity. If you have it, if that scenario is true, man, we cannot solve this insecurity. And it's like we're embarking on a kind of suicide mission. Look at soldiers on the field in the north. They always come out that we don't have good weapons. These people are having a more sophisticated weapons. So it's not a Senate thing. If you want to fight, look at Israel. Are they talking to Senate? The president, the prime minister, is the chief, what will I call it? A commander-in-chief. So he should know how to deal with this. This thing has been with us for more than 10 years. How come we cannot deal with it? And there is no way you can talk about development. If you talk about development on radio, no, I can't clap for you. You talk about it on TV, on newspaper, I can't clap for you as a government, because you have not solved the issue that will kill whatever you want to do, that will discourage or mess up whatever you want to do in form of development.
The federal government are saying they want to change military tactics. What tactics should be changed?
Before that, let me say the planned summit by the Senate is an indictment on the federal government, because it puts a pointer to the fact that whatever claims the military, the federal government has been linked to about restoring order is just a ruse. It is nothing but far from the truth. So the tactics they want to change, it is in Nigeria that we have military going for war, that will be announcing that, okay, we are going to engage you tomorrow. If you are announcing that, okay, tomorrow you are going to this place, the terrorists will have left the place before you get there. So announcing that they want to change tactics is nothing but a fallacy. Which tactics do they want to change? Now, what we need is a political way to end this insecurity. It is the lack of political will that is enriching these terrorists and resulting into loss of land and lives. If you look at the northern states, Sokoto, Katsina, Bauchi, and other states, you see that our borders are still porous. And if our borders are still porous, people can come in anytime they like, they can go anytime they like. It means that we don't have anything in place to checkmate the influx of these terrorists. If the challenges we have is limited to the Nigerian context, is another thing. But Nigerians will come in, the people fleeing from Libya will come in, those people from Cameroon will come in through the cross-river borders, and other things will come in as well. We are complaining of insecurity, yet our borders are still open. So how do you want to end security with that? The Ministry of Interiors are continuing to say we are digitalizing border security, we are doing this, we are doing that, but all those things are not effective. They are not on ground for people to see. If you are spending billions of dollars on digitalizing borders, we should be able to look from the control center, okay, this is an intruder coming to our country, then call the security on ground to pinpoint that person and arrest them. But where are those digital equipment or all other equipment that they are claiming to have got for the border control? They are nowhere to be found.
So are we lost, sir? Are we lost? Is there no hope? Or, I mean, like you said, these killings have been on. What's the name of this Boko Haram founder guy again? Mohammed Yusuf, Metamorphose, there's Kabiru Dogo,
Kabiru
Sokoto, these Zamfara guys, the one trending now.
Toji.
Toji. So we know these guys, they are now celebrities on TikTok, doing videos. People are watching. They collect ransom, and everybody knows they collect ransom. They collect motorbikes. The only thing we don't know is how we are going to end it. So are we on our own?
The why is even more difficult is that this it looks like a kind of guerrilla warfare, and the way if you want to embark on a mass killing of these terrorists, you will kill innocent people. So ordinarily, about maybe 10 years ago, before they even spread, government ought to have found a way to nip it in the bud, but they have not done that. What they have been doing is media trial, media chase without even solving the problem. It is unfortunate. For instance, look at Nigerian Immigration Service. They told us, they said they were training 1,500 personnel to man the borders. Up till now, you call immigration, they will not even tell you how far they have gone with that. They are joking with the security of lives. When I say they, I'm talking about those who are our representatives, those who we voted in to protect us. That is the first line charge in the Constitution. Protection of the Nigerian citizen. Primary responsibility. And we are joking with it. And that is why these people are coming on TikTok to even mock the government, mock Nigerian people. You see them counting money. They kidnap people without any form of harassment.
Even on that, we have the NCC. Sorry to cut you. So we have the NCC that's supposed to be monitoring the communication calls and things. And these people always come on TikTok to showcase, to show their loots, to show the ransom they have collected, and none of them have been arrested.
Their faces.
And TikTok has an account with the Nigerian government. So why is it impossible for the Nigerian government to go after these people? It means that some people, like Mr. Akachike earlier said, some people are benefiting from this. And if we are politicians, if we are government officials benefiting from it, it will be difficult for us to win the war. Don't forget that between 2011 and 2025, there were reports that no equipment was bought for the military. So if we have been coming up with budget every year for 3-4 years, every budget, and there was no equipment bought. So how do we want to win the war? It means we are just wasting the life of military officers that we push forward to fight these people. And when Chibok's girls were to be abducted, there were also reports that there were checkpoints before the schools. And before the arrival of this terrorists, the personnel, they have left. So who informed them? I'm just saying this for you to know that it is multidimensional.
Yes. Very recently, some of our military officers, fantastic military officers, were killed a couple of days ago. And many of them were killed. Of course, when things like this happen, the military try not to make it bogus, according to them, so that it does not weaken the morale of the officers, and it does not send a positive signal to some of these daredevils that we are trying to make a thing of the past. But the president himself was in Katsina, and he met with some of the military officers, and he was asking them how the morale was. And some of the military officers were speaking online, and they were actually saying they were happy with what the president had done. But this is not the first time President Tinubu, even though it looks like he's better than President Buhari when it comes to matters of security and meeting with the officers. But like the president said himself 2 years ago, no be statistics we go chop. No be meeting or asking of how is the morale we go chop at the end of the day, because the people are dying. Their family members are there. God knows what will happen to them. God knows if we will not be writing a feature story in 2026 saying the families of some of them have been. Now the question is, what truly happens outside of the facade and the charade and the pictures and the social media posts? What will really happen to some of these our people who are just dying needlessly?
People die needlessly because government, who has the main function of protecting them, have not come out to do so. Even the strategy of protecting the Nigerian citizen in this kind of situation is not there. It's not there. Israel, the way they fight their war, you see the without even coming to TV to say it, you see their strategy. They don't announce it. It is action that you see. Let me tell you, let me give you an example. The Afenifere youth leader that was kidnapped, that I interviewed, Ojajuni, he told me that the place they always bring, what will I call it? This money they pay them, ransom. Is close to a police checkpoint, close to army checkpoint. Will you tell me that the soldiers there are not aware of the fact that they always bring ransom to free people there? The forest is close to the checkpoint. The place they bring the ransom, very close to the checkpoint. So it shows that we are not serious about fighting crime. These are ragtag soldiers, ragtag armies, ragtag militia rather. They can't be more intelligent than our Nigerian soldiers. Why are they? It shows there is no strategy. Everybody is just doing what. And two, what about motivation? Let me tell you, an average soldier can be swayed to the other side. Change. I was with a soldier. He said his salary is nothing less than 60,000 naira after allowance. Change that to dollar. You know that we are joking in this country. What will 60,000 do? There is no motivation. Motivation is money. We had a story of a soldier that came out from the forest. He was on leave. He wanted to travel and see his. He came to where he would take it. He said 35,000 naira to your place, and he had only 50,000 naira. How will that soldier survive? He went back into the bush. What can be more demotivating than that? That is it.
Okay. There is this trend that I've observed about this bandit, these terrorists. The second day President Tinubu visited Katsina, these terrorists attacked military base in Buni. That was to tell you that they are monitoring what this government has been doing and putting to test the will of the government. Because if not that, how would a bandit, a terrorist, add that guts to attack a military after the president has spoken? It shows that they are weighing the motivation, I mean the morale of the soldiers, which is not there. So if you want to boost internal security, first you have to solve the problem of this poverty. You have to solve the problem of the motivation. The military personnel must be able to appreciate what they earn. And to be able to say that, okay, I can die for my country. Even if I die, my family will benefit this. My family, but those things are not in place. How would they want to face bandits when they think of, oh, I've not eaten a good food today. Oh, my family, my wife had not gotten a good treatment at the hospital. All those little things. Where we work, we know how they motivate us. That will keep us bringing the best out of us and making effort to get the best out of every one of us. But in a situation whereby the government will just pay you peanuts and expect you to deliver service of 100,000, that will not work.
Last question before we leave this topic. Is there any hope for the common man? The boy in Plateau, somebody in Mangu, somebody in Benue, somebody in, in all these places, Kaura Namoda, in Zamfara. You know, the real people that are affected in Katsina, in some part of Kaduna.
Plateau?
That's what I said, Plateau, Mangu,
Bokos. There is hope. We should not lose hope. We should not lose hope. In my religion, they will say, don't ever lose hope of God's favor. Don't ever lose hope of God's favor. So there is still hope. It is only the government that will continue to pressurize to do the needful and save Nigerians from unnecessary deaths. If people can come from nowhere and attack a community, it means that they have studied that community and know that there is no security in place.
Let me quickly come in. Let me quickly come in. If 2 + 2 is 4, nations grow based on scientific analysis and pursuit. If 2 + 2 is 4, the situation as it is, I've asked many people as journalists, the situation as it is, we have 5th columnists, no strategy. The situation is irredeemable. For us to get peace, the situation as it is now, the way we are pursuing it, it is irredeemable. In fact, it is irretrievable. As it is.
There's no hope for
it's a hopeless situation. If we continue like this,
these killings that
the commitment is not there. So where is the hope? It's a situation of hopelessness. Except we change our tactics and we show love. The government must show that it is there for the people and not for themselves. Not for themselves. So far, the government is for itself. It is not. See, I gave you the division of government the other day. Government is a machinery set up for the ordinary running affairs of the people. It didn't say of government officials.
Of the people.
Yes.
Of the people.
So we are joking.
If we are going by that, it appears that we are hopeless. But things are likely to change.
If you have a religious quote, you are going the Kamat's way.
Not the Kamat's.
The opium of the people.
But if the reality is, if you have a government that knows how to address issues, that is sincere, not the government of how to benefit the few around them, these things are not magic. Nigeria has border. It is not a vast land that does not have any boundary.
Yes.
It is a matter of putting necessary steps in place to checkmate the influx of people and empower both the local government, the state government, the traditional rulers to know the in and out of their community, implement the state police. Even if it is possible, the local governments will also have police so that they will be able to man their various territories
And know who is who.
and know who is who. By that time, the DGDSS a few months ago said communities should be armed. If the DHS could say that, the DGDSS could say that, it means that if each community is armed, people coming to attack within twice. And in Cuba does not have the power, is not as powerful as the US, but Cuba will tell you that they cannot be subjugated, they cannot be conquered by US, because each community has arms. And they think they are citizens in Karat and all those things. So we should be able to go by community policing and state policing, so that we have enough manpower, enough ammunition to confront the intruders
And rescue the Nigerian innocent citizens. All right, very quickly, we have to move on to the next topic. A funny one, very sad, but very funny. A couple of days ago, JAMB released results of students, or should we say intending students, who wrote the 2025 UTME examination. And the results are scary. Of the about 1.9 million students that wrote the exam, 1.5 million of them failed to get 200. Of course, we know JAMB is marked over 400, so meaning that well over half of them, what am I saying, 1.5 million to 1.9 million, did not get up to half. Interestingly, many of them will get admission, because these days the bar is reduced about 140, 150, and for those who their parents can afford it, you just find the nearest private institution or private university preferably, and you find your way and you're out in the next 4 years. But what happens and what becomes of the Nigerian education system? WAEC results were released recently, and the results were not too palatable as well. What makes it more interesting is that the JAMB result of 2025 is not new. In the last couple of years, the statistics have remained the same, and this year it looks like it is worse off. I'll be starting with you this time around, Mr. Ismail Uthman. The results are out again. It's funny online, but if you know somebody that wrote JAMB, it may probably not be funny to you. But online, everybody's laughing about it, talking about in their days. But close to 2 million people wrote exam. 1.5 million did not make 200. What signal is this sending to the future of Nigeria?
We have to look at the factors that brought this up. There are various factors. First, the reading culture is no longer there. Pupils, students would prefer to spend their time on smartphones, on social media, than to read. And if we have that kind of generation, it means people are drifting away from literary work to social media life. Even if they are given assignments, they prefer to Google it, to do it, instead of thinking. Instead of meeting aunts, meeting uncles, meeting brothers to solve the problem for it, they just go on the internet, Google it, and write it.
Meeting people like it used to be in the past.
That it used to be in the past. So they just Google it, they understand, they don't understand, they just submit it. And the teacher who will mark the assignment to is a product of social media, is a product of Google searching assignments, is a product of pass arrangements in the school, because all the schools we have, especially the public school, even the private school, they use club members as teachers. The quality of education will not grow when you don't have quality teachers at the schools. That is number one. Number two is leaking of questions. The Paris centers,
what do they special
centers are no longer benefiting from the corrupt system in the past. Questions are no longer leaking. It's maybe leaking, but the percentage has dropped. So they don't have enough. They don't have questions to prepare their students, their candidates ahead of exams again. So it is what you read that you will write. So by that we can say that okay, JAMB has done well by putting the test to the candidate directly instead of allowing the questions to leak out. The second thing is there were crises on the exam day. There were crises on the exam day because there are some centers. Candidates complained that they were shut down before the completion of the exam. There was a school, there was a center in, I think, Taraba, where parents were protesting that JAMB should cancel the result because the center was using generator, and before the end of the exam,
generator went off.
Wow. So those candidates will be part of these people who do not have 200, who scores less than 200 marks. So it is multidimensional. I just mentioned 3 factors.
So it's not on the student alone.
It is not on the student alone. It is not on the student.
JAMB should examine itself.
I'm talking about the centers
Yeah.
who went out before the completion of the exam. People were protesting, parents were protesting that they should cancel the exam and
but that's on JAMB too,
that's on JAMB.
The centers are under them.
Yes, and it is baffling that this same thing may happen because JAMB is considering going for CBT. WAEC.
Yeah.
So if you have CBT,
2027.
if you have CBT WAEC, it means that people will just be doing AEJ, UOJ, and the luck will run on some. And
WAEC and CBT, that's not anymore. I mean,
how do you want to examine the performance?
Okay, they can type.
No, it's CBT.
It
If it is CBT, it means that you are not going to be writing.
The new WAEC.
There's not going to be essay. There's
no writing.
No writing. If it is complete CBT,
yes,
it means no essay, no calculation for mathematics. No, you just put it on the system, and is it A or B or C or D? Just tick. However, why you come out to explain better about the program because people are still confused on it. Wow. So JAMB should examine itself, and there is need for attitudinal change for the younger generations. People are no longer reading, not even the secondary school. The generation after us, even our own generation, we don't read at like the
pace of.
So people should cultivate the habit of reading, so that we will not continue to produce robots and produce people with ordinary certificates
with nothing inside.
Nothing inside.
Yeah.
Sir, the issue is the same.
Yeah.
But before I allow you to speak, let's just do the breakdown. The results were released, of course, on Monday.
Yeah.
983,197 candidates, which amounted to 50.29% of the entire number of those that wrote the exam, scored between 160 and 199. Means that over half, or a little higher than half of the 1.9 million scored between 160 and 199, not 1.9. 199, 160 to 199. Yeah. And 488,197 candidates, which amounts to 24.97%, scored between 140 and 159. 140 and 159. 57,419 candidates scored between 120 and 139. Only 4,756 candidates scored 320 and above. These are the upper echelon. Yeah. While 7,658 candidates scored between 300 and 319. Those who scored 300 and above are 12,414. So there you have it. I mean, out of 40,247 underage candidates who took the exam, only 467 of them can be classified as having performed exceptionally. The statistics
it shows mass failure.
What is the reason for this? Yes, that's the word, mass failure. What is the reason for this?
My colleague there has broken down the whole thing. But I will say that from the technical aspect, JAMB has itself should take part of the blame too, because about 2 candidates told me that for English language in Ikorodu, a center in Ikorodu, that they just saw options from question 1 to 10. They only saw options, no questions.
Wow.
And nobody, JAMB has not been able to explain the situation as it is. That is 0/10. That is 0/10. So that is the technical angle. But from the social angle, you find out that the situation in Nigeria again is affecting. Though I won't say the candidates too should not be blamed. The situation in Nigeria, you see that parents don't even have time for their children again. They don't ask them, they don't ask questions. What are you doing? What have you done? And two, from the finance aspect, some parents don't take their children to extramural classes. They don't. Lessons.
Like they call it.
Most I saw about 3 parents who said they don't have money for lessons. Let him be reading at home. That is the currency. That is how these things affect our candidates. But as it is, if last year's one was okay, there was no problem. But the situation, the bad weather, is coming in to affect these candidates. It's left for them to fight it off. Next time they face their studies. And as he said, he talked about this phone. It's a kind of distraction to the candidates. It's a distraction. Sometimes they will say they are reading. They are watching things that are not related to their exams. So that's
in addition to that, we should not forget the factor of the economic hardship too.
Hardship on students.
The parents.
Oh, okay, parents.
People, students, children who were not hawking last year have begun to hawk this year because their parents are looking for survival.
They are not staying in shop.
So they are staying in shop longer than the necessary. If you have parents who hawk at Osodi, and in a bit to have more money, you join the mother, you join the parents to hawk as well. The time you are supposed to be spending on reading, you are spending also the load. And when you get home, there is no electricity for you.
That is it.
You're tired.
So you will be tired, and the following morning you just be rushing to do whatever. So the economic hardship is really telling on the generality of Nigerians. So that, I mean, in the sense that you cannot calculate the time, the income, and the prospects you want to make. It is either you forgo a certain thing for another thing, or you forgo the entire thing for survival. You cannot pursue education while you are hungry. You cannot pursue education while you don't know what to eat next morning. You see, mental balance is important in education. If you know that tomorrow morning I'm going to have rice, I'm going to have yam, you feel comfortable even without eating anything.
What about those that have the rice and the yam and
that is another.
Out of 1.9 million, 1.5 failed. Or should I say 1.5 did not get 200? I mean, everybody cannot be
unfortunately, there is no statistic to show us. Maybe they are from the poor background.
Generally speaking,
but generally, if you want to generalize it, the candidates of parents, I mean the rich parents, will perform better than what you have, except where you have brilliant students from the poor. Because the rich people, the rich parents will have time for their children. They have extramural classes. They go to quality schools and others. You understand? But the students from the public schools, how is their performance? There was a statistics in Osun. Sorry to go to Osun State. Go and take the results from 2012 to 2021, excuse me again, or 2022. There was good performance for WAEC because the governor then puts in place this OME program where students will be hitting. And other programs like Education Master, who will be checking students' performance, student performance. Are you in school? You are not in school. And motivation for teachers as well. If those programs are lacking in public school, you cannot have good education, good performance from the public school. But unlike the private school, where you have everything in place, teachers are well paid at the appropriate time, and the students too will know that if I miss this class, I'm going to be penalized. Who is penalizing public school students? There is no sanction, there is no morality, there is no discipline. Again, all those things put together have a way of impacting on the students in the public school. If we have good functional education at the public school, we are going to have better results because the public school always have more candidates than the private schools.
So they fall into the majority.
They fall into the majority. So our governors should try to develop public education, and the federal government too should have a way of bringing relief to the people in this economic hardship. If parents are not happy, there's no how they are going to be able to check their students. There's no how they will be able to have necessary attention for the students, because all what they do, what the attention will be is what will these children eat.
Wow, this is a deep one now. Sadly, we have to move on to the very last topic of the day. A couple of days ago, the Labour Party chairman came out and said that some of the people in his party that have been attacking him have no right to do so. And it was direct, it was specific. He straight out went to attack the only governor the Labour Party has at the moment, the governor of Abure State, Governor Alex Otti. And about 24 hours after, he took that threat, or he took that attack a little bit far by suspending the governor, suspending Senator Ireti of Abuja, and a few other political leaders representing the Labour Party. At a time when the PDP is having internal implosion, one wondered if the Labour Party was going to do better as the only main face of opposition in the country. But it looks like there's self-implosion happening in the Labour Party as well. I'll be throwing this to you. This is a serious matter. Yeah. Because Governor Otti is one of the best performing governors in the country. He's from the opposition, he's from the Labour Party, the second most popular opposition party in Nigeria. And some persons were thinking perhaps the opposition can build from there. Somehow, the chairman of the party, Mr. Abure, and his leaders, the leaders in his party, are having a very, very big war that has led to this now. Is it not pushing them into the APC? Stylish.
No, you call the Abure the chairman. I will not call him their chairman. The chairman, I can call him supposed chairman or something like that, because the Supreme Court has said.
But they've interpreted it.
Yes, what we are seeing here is the fact that the opposition is in disarray, and it is a plus for the non-performing APC. I call it non-performing because I'm a Nigerian. I see what is happening. You know, the other person was Boala said. Yes, Nigerians seem not to. Some Nigerians seem not to have seen what the APC has done. The fact is that that party has not done anything based on the promise they gave Nigerians. So, but the plus for them, if tomorrow APC wins, is not based on its performance. It is based on the fact that APC, the opposition, is irresponsibly in disarray. I think you understand. So, for the opposition, they can start now to retrace their step and stop this madness they are looking at. And let's say the truth, all of them appears to be the same. Because if it is service for the people, service to the people, there shouldn't be this kind of fight. Service to the people. For me, working now, as I'm working now, I have at times I will shift my sleep to maybe 1 a.m. so that I can serve and get paid. But these people are not there to serve the people. Because if you are there to serve, why will you spend 8 years or 6 years or maximum year you are supposed to spend as a chairman and you want to continue? What is the lure? What is the lure there if it's not for corruption? So, as far as I'm concerned, the governor of Abia State should be respected. And that is not, a chairman cannot stay from his national, if he's the chairman, from his national position and declare somebody suspended. Or
shouldn't it come from the ward?
It should come, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Except they are creating their own constitution in their head. And that's why the governor said the man was clownish.
As a matter of fact, Otti is also a member of NEC.
Yes.
By virtue of being a governor, and is the leader of the party, whether we like it or not. Unfortunately, the control for the party's structure has eaten deep to the extent that it is irreconcilable.
At the moment,
the counts are irreconcilable. It is either one goes for the other. Otti, Abure has been the chairman of the party since 2022 or 2021, and serious conventions and other things have been coming with controversies. But however, going away from the Labour Party chieftains and leaders, the INEC too have responsibility on this, because the Supreme Court judgment is still controversial. It is one judgment.
Why should the Supreme Court judgment be controversial?
Because it is not explicit.
Why shouldn't the Supreme Court judgment be explicit?
It is what we are supposed to be calling for, that the Supreme Court, even the General Court now, should be explicit as much as possible so that their judgment will not be misinterpreted, their judgment will not be seen as complex or controversial. If you give a judgment that both parties are laying claim to, that it is in my favor, it is in your favor, just like what we had in PDP as well, it means that the judgment is nothing but a theory.
It's not judging.
It's a theory that you have to study, that you have to call expert.
That has always been
so
the issue.
The
judgment of the Supreme Court, the judgment of the High Court should not be the one that people will be looking at for professors to interpret. It should be explicit,
plain and simple. All right,
yeah.
unfortunately, we don't have time to go on. I mean, you know, when we are just on this round table like this, I don't know how around this particular table is, but you know, it's the round table. When we're on the round table like this, we sometimes, you know, it's like I always say, we bring all the sides to you and present the facts to you, our viewers. So, very thank you to Mr. Chukwudi Akasike for being a part of this program today.
Thank you.
Very thank you to you, Mr. Ishmael Uthman, for being a part of this package this Thursday. The biggest thanks belongs to you out there, our viewers. Of course, we know how expensive data can be these days, and you guys still stick with us. So we appreciate you, and you know, we hope you join us again same time next week Thursday. My name is Shegun Odwan. I was saying, have yourselves a fantastic weekend that begins tomorrow. Stay out of trouble. God bless.